Uh, the reason, the reason, the reason that the computer is making that beeping noise is because there's some sort of malfunction in the adapter here, and you might hear that throughout the video. So bear with me. Um, Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be doing a review of the Power Rangers movie. It's a little backstory. This has to be the seminal film of my childhood. I watched this movie endlessly on repeat when I rented it from Blockbuster. You know, actually, I don't even know where I got it from, but we used to have a video store I used to go to, and I caught quite a few movies there. Super Mario Brothers, a little rental store. That's how we did things back in the day. There was no internet, so if you wanted to see a movie, and that was a big business, getting to watch movies at home instead of having to go out and see them. So I rented a lot of movies, and me and my cousins and everybody, we all got together and we watched it. And sometimes I just watch them by myself. And before we got the VCR going, I had to pretty much watch a movie on TV from beginning to end and wait through the commercials for it to go. That's how we rolled. There was no easy thing we could do about it. We just had to deal with it. And I have it up here. I have a lot of love for the Power Rangers. If you notice, I'm somewhat athletic. It's because of Power Rangers. I practiced my body. I learned to do gymnastics somewhat, all because of the Power Rangers. You know, and I'm still training myself. And I'm shocked really that Power Rangers is still around. I watched this show from the first episode, and I tried to watch a couple of next seasons, and then after that, it just became a what the fuck? I don't care about this shit no more. It wasn't even about I grew out of it. It's just that the show itself became worse than it originally was. I'm not gonna try to argue Power Rangers is the best show ever. It was it was wonderful, at least the first couple of seasons, to see something of its kind. I've never seen anything like it before, and that was fun. That was always fun. The characters were fun, and there hasn't been anything. I mean, the only thing good from Power Rangers recently was SPD, in my opinion. That was actually they attempted. I read about it online that the creators were attempting to take Power Rangers seriously. And I could see they were trying to do that in the show, and ultimately it turned back into Power Rangers as it was. But it was a good ass try. It showed the potential for taking Power Rangers from children's bullshit to being a serious, actual, dramatic sci-fi adventure show. And there still is potential. I would hope to one day, if I could get myself in that position, actually make a great Power Rangers movie. This movie is as good as we got right now. I was I was I never saw it in theaters. I caught it later, but this and the Casper movie, the '90s was kicking ass, man. When they made movies like this, I don't know what what happened, but then Yogi Bear movie come out. That's a piece of shit. Ultimately, I think that Hollywood's losing its edge, man. But they made badass, good adaptations of TV shows and comics and cartoons in the '90s, and now they're just making shit. So it's kind of hard to figure out why. I don't know. We've lost a lot of good stuff. I don't know what's good on TV anymore. I don't know. I was working at Toys R Us, and this little kid is coming in there, and he reminds me of myself back at his age, and he's waiting to buy some Power Rangers toy, you know, and I had Power Rangers toys myself as a kid, and actually I didn't have them. My friend had them, and I'd borrow them and play with them. We didn't roll. My family didn't roll like that. We didn't buy no freaking Power Rangers toy and TMNT toy. Every other kid had the good shit. I was still like, oh, trying to get by on, scraps. So my best friend in first grade,
had the Red Ranger, and it was a cool toy. He had everything. I went to his house. All right, and he had the Megazord. He had the Red Ranger. He could put it inside of the Megazord. That was a fucked up thing, man. They made the actual Megazord so that you could play with it, and then rock it around. This Power Rangers thing was fucking huge, man. And supposedly it still is. I see tons of Power Rangers toys on the shelves. I can't imagine why though, because it's like it's not even as good as it used to be. But I guess kids don't care. Maybe they don't even give a shit. I know, like when you're just watching something for the awesome, cool action and stuff, you don't give a shit. So I understand. But this movie is, I watched this movie like fucking endlessly. I was just overjoyed that they took the Power Rangers seriously. They were wearing badass armor, and it was just a good movie overall. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the little quiet moments, character moments, and it's like I was so happy to see that they were gonna make another Power Rangers movie after this, and then I went to see it in theaters. It was my first Power Rangers movie to be seen in theaters, and it was a complete piece of shit, you know. So I was just lost after that. Like, wow, why did they do that to me? I felt betrayed because I worshipped this movie. I seriously just like after the movie was done, I put it on rewind and I watched it again. That's what I did. It's just I still feel that nostalgia right now. I watch it and I wish that things were more complicated, that the characters were given more time to breathe and room to breathe. But I can still see that there's such still a passion there for the Power Rangers, and they were attempting. Supposedly, I watched the interview with David Yost, and he says that the people who worked on this movie are actually, big time Hollywood people. When they decided to bring Hollywood Power Rangers to the theaters, they didn't play around. They got the best people to take care of it and do it right. And you know, all these a lot of the time the script's always better than the movie. I'm pretty sure it's the same case with this movie. They had a great script or whatever, had a great idea, and then they eventually throughout the process, all that got whittled down to what this is, which is a okay attempt at making a Power Rangers movie. But the flaw is that they just thrust you right there into the movie. Usually with a movie, you get to know the characters for like 30 minutes, so that you get to know them, and then you roll with who they are, and you understand what their issues are, and you get to understand their backstory. We know nothing squat diddly about any of these people. They just boom. Yeah, I really have to have watched the show religiously, to really give a shit about what these people are dealing with. Otherwise, you be completely ass fucking lost. One thing I can say for it is that it's a lot like an old school. They really ripped off Star Wars for this, and of course Star Wars itself ripped off old school Flash Gordon serials. And this movie it's just straight up a Flash Gordon serial. You know how when you're a kid and you're watching some space rocket man show, and they don't explain shit about where he came from, and it's just okay. He's got lasers and he's got guns and he's fighting aliens. Boom, enjoy it. That's what this is, and I did, man. I was so impressed by this film, man. Um, so I learned that my favorite Ranger of the series was Billy because he's exactly like me. He's a nerd of the group, and his color is blue. My color is blue. I always wear blue. I always rock blue, and I'm a nerd and I wear glasses. So Billy was exactly like me. I'm the Blue Ranger in the flesh. This shit was, I watch the movie now and it's like, damn, them titties is nice. I did not give a shit about girls' bodies back then. Good lord. I did not give a fuck. I was just like, I had no sexual interest in this. She just looked like my teacher or some shit like that. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care about her body and her sexy hips and shit. I watched the movie now and I'm just getting a boner here watching it. So that's what's up. Her name's Dulcia. She's the Yoda of the Power Rangers. I don't know, man. This movie was just, it was the 90s at its peak, I would say. When they took films and they put everything they could into making them as awesome and cool as possible. Nowadays, they'll very much just CGI everything. This movie, if you watch the first fight with the Tengu, there's CGI, but it's not like they make the whole fight out of CGI like they wouldn't if it was a Star Wars prequel. There's practical effects. The actors who know gymnastics are actually flipping around. It's a badass, cool fight scene done all straight up '90s style. The thing that impressed me the most was when Billy and Kimberly were flipping. There was no cut after they started flipping. They stopped flipping, and then the actors just stood there because you could see clearly that it was them doing the physical stunt. And that was impressive because I never really saw them do that much on the show. As soon as we get to the movie, we get to see them really doing their gymnastics, and it's like, oh yeah, that was great. And that's one of the reasons why the original cast is still the best. They actually could do all the martial arts and gymnastics. Yeah, the other cast, as the show progressed, they started just hiring actors, and that's it. There was no actual martial arts or gymnastics needed because they knew they could just like have them morph, and then some dude in a suit would do all the work. And so I would submit that the primary reason that the original Power Rangers still stands as some of the best of its kind in form of kids entertainment is because the cast, you know, truly had all that talent that they were displaying. And so many other shows would just have the actor disappear for a while and some stunt person take over. The original Power Rangers didn't play like that. It was a little bit more elite in that sense. That these actors could not only play the role, and then they could do all the flips and gymnastics. And it was just you couldn't buy something like that. It's just so many actors can't do any of that shit. Like watch The Matrix. Imagine if Keanu could actually do real martial arts instead of faking it. You know, imagine that's exactly what the Power Rangers was to a lot of kids, and to me was that one. You're not just watching it, and then the actor disappears, and then it's a stunt guy. It's a real. It added to the realism of the show in a sense that not only 1 minute you're watching Billy talk, and then he's flipping around kicking ass. It makes everything that much better. Um, the kid storyline was always a drawback. I hated that part. This was lame, but whatever. '90s. They always had to have kids doing something in the movies. They had this idea that kids wanted to watch other kids, but that's complete bullshit. Kids don't care about other kids. They have to deal with them. They have to, live with them. But ultimately, their concern is that they want to see grown ass people doing grown ass things. Because that's where they're going. They're on their way there. Might as well get an idea of what it's all about. Everybody treats kids like kids too much, in my opinion. But whatever. It was this and Meteor Man and Blank Man and Casper, just pure 100% '90s cinema, where they built real sets. Look at this. This would all be CGI if this was done today. They built the whole set. And the whole movie would just had this epic feel to it. And the advertisements for the movie were fantastic. They really pimped this motherfucking movie. I don't know how much money it made, but I can't imagine why they didn't make another one with the same, people behind it and same effort. It's just, and the Power Rangers is still around. It's just like it's a dying dog now. It's not even what it once was. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do anymore. Um, Whatever, man. I mean, the new Ninja Turtles are kicking ass with the kids. I don't know how they rolling. A lot of kids, they play fucking Call of Duty all day or something like that. I didn't play like that. I played my Super Nintendo, but I didn't have full on online multiplayer sessions with people. So I don't know. Kids of the internet is a thing now, and the internet's providing like not only tons of porn, but also you can they can watch this movie, bring it up online some form and just watch it. So that's good. That they're not missing out on it. At least I like that. So what else was I gonna say? I fucking forgot, yo. Oh yeah, they're making new Superman and new Star Wars. So let's talk about that for a little bit. I don't know what to think about that. Uh, I want the Superman. Then what's his name? David Goyer has just stated that they're taking the movie to a. They're taking it as if it's not even a comic book movie. They're gonna do Batman Begins style Superman with it. Uh, which basically means he's gonna treat it very similarly to M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable, in which they took this concept of superheroes and really, really took it seriously and made a dramatic, realistic version of what that could be. And that's great. It's still Superman, no matter what format he's in, he's always Superman. He's always going to be hopefully, Tim Burton's plan for Superman was going to be something ridiculous. I don't know what they were planning to do, but at the time when he was making that movie, Superman was dead. They killed him, and then they made all these different versions of Superman. So in a sense, at the time in the 90s, Tim Burton's idea for Superman wasn't going to seem so outlandish. But of course, Superman's not like that anymore. Hopefully, it's not like that. I haven't read a Superman comic in years, but um, they're gonna change. They're gonna do this new Superman, and Superman is an interesting uh, sci-fi adventures concept to play with because I don't know. I've read DC comics for a while, as a kid, and his stuff is so. It's like being in a Star Trek episode. That's the idea. You got to take the Superman. His stuff is like it's intellectually interesting, whereas other things like Spider-Man's more of a funny, interesting concept. It's not about engaging you mentally. Superman is always on that level where he's more of a high level sci-fi concept to me anyway. And so that's hopefully where they're going to take things. I don't want to just see big stupid explosions and Transformers style movie making. The Transformers have so much potential for actual sci-fi storytelling and cleverness and intelligence, and yet Michael Bay's fucked it all up and said, I don't give a shit, I'm making millions of dollars anyway. And I'm pretty sure a kid loves the movies. I know I just love the movie because it had action in it or something like that. But I don't know, man. Kids today have fucking, Call of Duty and Halo, and they can play a level of all that. I couldn't do that back then. I lived through the time when something like GTA 3 was monumental and different and huge because all we had before that was a game where you progressed and then you played the next level. Whatever the hell the game developer wanted you to do, you had to do it. You couldn't just fucking walk around the world for a while punching people or swinging a bat at anybody. GTA 3 changed every fucking thing about video gaming. Period. It hasn't even been got sunken in yet, but that one game changed everything. It really is like the invention of the fucking light bulb, in terms of video games. So, um, I don't know if kids today are even any any bit impressed by the kinds of films they're pumping out. That's why movies today are 3D and high frame rate because you know you can do anything that they could do in the 90s and 80s with any kind of video game they're making now. All that effects and stuff, robots fighting, it's all there in any game you could pick up at the store. But back in my day, you had nothing but Super Mario Brothers and Earthworm Jim and Ren and Stimpy games and mad cartoons and stuff. So to actually be able to witness awesome Star Warsy, I can play Star Wars Battlefront right now and create.
a more visually dynamic and interesting thing than anything in the Star Wars films. You know what I mean? That's why Lucas said fuck it and amped up the action in the prequels because he knew that if he dialed it back and kept it simple, it wouldn't be impressive at all because any kid could play Star Wars video game and do twice as 3 times as much shit. So he amped it up. But that was a huge error in judgment because now I'm feeling sorry for kids watching the Star Wars movies now. Maybe they don't even like them, you know. I talked to a kid walking onto a Delta flight, and the kid was like, "I like Star Wars, but I don't like the new ones." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what's up," you know. but that's sad to me because it's like you shouldn't have to be like that. Oh my God, I don't like something. I mean, ultimately, it's I like everything Star Wars. You know, even a fucking holiday special. I loved seeing Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill, and all of them back in uniform and doing something. I didn't care. It was Star Wars. It was cool to me. So I imagine that a little Star Wars kid is really like, I don't give a fuck, you know. Yeah, the movie doesn't quite make sense. Midichlorians. I don't know how the Emperor turned into a wrinkly shit. I don't know. But to me, like it's like watching the Superman series as a kid. I watched Superman 1 and I loved that movie. I was so in love with that movie. And then I watched Superman 2 and I loved that movie just as much. Wonderful. And then I watched Superman 3 and I was like, wait a minute, something's wrong with this shit. And but still, it had a cool fight scene in the junkyard and all this other stuff. It was not so bad. I watched Superman 4, and you know, I take a lot away from Superman 4. I like that movie quite a bit. It was definitely a return to the style of the first movie. That was the first thing I took away from it. It's like, wow, we're back in business. Only thing that was really stupid was that sidekick kid played by John Cryer. That guy was so annoying, you know. Even fucking Supergirl, I watched that shit and I enjoyed it because it was Superman something. Anything Superman had, you know, any relation to, and of course Smallville. I went on to that. So everything and anything that has to do with the franchise, kids have a lot less, a lot less of a problem with the little things that come and go inside of these things. And I try to impress upon people that you can't tell kids this sucks. I can imagine some kids watching the entire Indiana Jones series from start to finish, and he doesn't care. He just wants to see Indy doing something, anything at all. And I can't watch Crystal Skull because I know what it was supposed to be. I know what it should have been, and I know how fucked up it is. That and I know everybody involved with that movie knows that they fucked up. They fell on their face and they're embarrassed about it. But I think that there is a child out there who watches episode Indy from Raiders all the way to Crystal Skull and loves every minute of it. He doesn't give a fuck, you know. You know, it is what it is. Childhood is such a cool experience, you know. I wish I could go back, honestly, so that I don't have to be like, oh man. But you know, I watch more mature movies now. That's all. It's not like I can't watch a movie anymore. I watch. It's hard for me to watch the movies I used to watch because I've seen them 1,000 times. And on top of that, they really are just really fluffy, light kids movies. They're not really deep, intense, hardcore films made for more mature mindsets. So for me personally, I like watching movies with lots of ass and titties. Those are really interesting. And of course, everything that's intellectually engaging. Something that makes you want to figure out the characters and their motivations and shit like that. Because I know that's kind of shit that I avoided, years ago. Now I can actually enjoy it. So that's a plus. Um, I watched the Honey I Shrunk the Kids first movie recently, and it's just stunning. I was just in awe of the level of effects work they put into that film. They don't do that anymore. I feel so fucking sorry for kids. They don't have that. I watched that movie like they just had a marathon on TV one day. They just tossed those movies on TV, and it just blew me off the fucking couch, man. That was just a great fucking movie. I enjoyed it so much. Uh, And then I saw the second one, of course. That was not that good. But then the third one, you know, they did make a third one, and it's just I don't even want. It's ugh. You know, I realize now that Rick Moranis collected a paycheck from it. I don't think he even cared about any of the Honey I Shrunk the Kids films. It was just, he's making a he probably got a lot of fucking money from that series. So you know, but everyone in the I can see it. Everybody who was involved with the films was having a great time. It was just fun. For me as a kid, the movie was real. I didn't even consider any of it to be a movie. That's the great thing about being a child. You really take anything you see and you believe it. You know, I can imagine kids watch the new Batman, the new everything, and it's just they don't consider it a movie at all. It's real. It's fucking real. I love that. You know. That's the sad thing about being in an internet age. You can read actors' interviews right after they shoot a scene or some shit like that. Or the fucking filmmakers are blogging about making the movie as they make it. I kind of wish we can go back to the age where we knew fuck all about how they were making any of these movies. They made the movie, they released it, and you as a little kid had no clue how they made it. All you knew was that you were watching this real event take place, and that's all that mattered. I would, oh, I'd love to go back to that, cause like I watched Toy Story 3, right, and all I could think while watching it was, I wish they didn't do that. I wish they kept Bo Peep in the story. You know, I can't see how this movie even matters because now they already asked this question in the last movie. What would happen if Andy grew out of the toys? They just asked it again this time, and then actually went there and had Andy grow out of the toys. So now they're back at square one. They're with a new girl, and what's gonna happen when she grows up? They're gonna go through this whole situation again. I think the original intention was to leave them in the daycare center, but ultimately, whatever politics, studio politics got in the way, they went for a safe pussy ass ending, and they had the girl have the new toys, all smiles and kisses, but it's not really a conclusion. As soon as that girl grows up and gets titties and an ass, she won't give a fuck about Woody and Buzz and them niggas anymore. So I don't understand that movie. Maybe I'm too old for it and shit. I understand. Problem with Disney these days is that they don't have the mad balls that they had back in the old days. They just do not. The Star Wars thing might change that though. All things considered, I think going to fuck it up royally and create the worst Star Wars movies we've ever seen, worse than the fucking prequels, and totally drive Star Wars into the ground like this Clone Wars series is, or this is going to completely bring Star Wars back to the forefront of masterful filmmaking. I don't know. John Williams is fucking 80. You know, it's exciting though. I always wanted to see what would happen next, and now it's going to happen. And this is going to be Indiana Jones 4. They're going to do something actually good. This is a challenge, man, and I'm with them all the way. I hope the movies end out wonderful, and it could. They very well could. There's so much potential now with all the effects technology at our disposal, all the great things that they could do, and some of the Star Wars actors are still around. You know, I think they're gonna come back. If indeed Harrison Ford is willing to come back for Indiana Jones, most likely he's gonna come back for Han Solo. Carrie Fisher already claimed she'll come back if they want her, and Mark Hamill is most likely gonna come back. Absolutely. And if he does, I will do backflips. I will goddamn do backflips. I don't even know, man. Because they could do it, Those three actors could get together and make 10 times the Star Wars film than George Lucas and his whole prequel crew. Absolutely. Because they would know what to do. Absolutely. So, well, That's all I got to say on that. Let's all hope that the future is going to be very bright for Star Wars, for Superman, and anything they're trying to accomplish now. The thing I would like to see is they take a lot of the stuff that was popular in the 90s and actually make movies out of them now. Dexter's Lab, um, SWAT Cats, Thundercats. Uh, they already tried a Dragon Ball movie, and that's a good start. I'm not gonna hate on the Dragon Ball movie because I don't think there was any possible way for that to be good, no matter what the fuck they try to do. Uh, Dragon Ball is done. You know, if they're gonna make a movie off of some popular anime with fighting in it, it would definitely be Naruto. I would love to see a live action Naruto, and anything else from the 90s that was really really good. They should put it on. They should bring it to the theaters. Absolutely. No more Transformers movies. I don't need no more of that shit. It's okay, Michael Bay. You can stop fucking up Transformers. Ugh, that's disappointing. You didn't have to either. You can see inside of the actual movie. There is actual effort. 1 minute you can actually take a seat. The moment you think to yourself, I can actually take this scene seriously. I can actually care about what the fuck is going on in this scene. Some stupid shit happens and takes you right the fuck out of the movie and makes it seem like it's just retarded. So it's just motherfucker. You know, all that work they put into that movie, and it's just for nothing. Don't even try with the next one, man. Just fucking give up. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck about Transformers no more. It actually makes me hate Transformers. I love Transformers. I enjoyed the show. I love Beast Wars, and then these movies make me feel like Transformers sucks. But it doesn't suck. It's actually great. It's one of the best big ass, awesome, epic stories ever. And the concept is genius. Take cars and have them transform and shit. And it's like you can make mad money off of the toys for that. Anyway, whatever they do, the next big thing to bring this to theaters is Thundercats. Oh my fucking god, Thundercats! Good lord, that shit would be the. Oh, you don't even know. That would kill it at the theaters. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, SWAT Cats. I don't know if that's popular enough. I love that show, but I don't know. They should be making a Johnny Quest movie eventually. That will definitely happen. They've been trying to make one for so long. That's the thing. So now that Johnny Quest is like, I think that they should they should revamp the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, make a new show, and they should make a live action movie, and that'd be just perfect. Um, Anything from the 90s they could bring to theaters, that'd be wonderful. Trying to think of what else. Oh man, Gargoyles, a live action Gargoyles. Maybe even have Keith David play Goliath. I don't know how old he is now, but that'd be fantastic. Gargoyles live action. Fuck it, Gummy Bears live action. Uh, DuckTales live action. I don't know, something like that. That'd be cool. If they did DuckTales Tintin style, imagine that. Oh my god. I'm watching Tintin and I'm thinking this is like a DuckTales episode. And the truth is that, a lot of the DuckTales was based on the Tintin stuff anyway. And Indiana Jones. So there's that. So much potential. All you gotta do is take anything that was popular in the 90s and bring it back. Have a live action Pete movie or something like that. Anything. And why is there a fucking SpongeBob movie? Why can't I watch online here a SpongeBob movie? Yet there is no, uh, you know, there was a Doug movie. Honestly, I shouldn't say that. I don't want Doug movie anyway. Faggot. I'm talking about like Ren and Stimpy, came out, he was the original SpongeBob. We don't got a movie for that. Kidding me with that. Ren Stimpy's a bomb. Uh, yeah, man. This is like, you know, I think that Hollywood's scared that they're not going to be able to compete with the movies of yesteryear. Because I've been watching some older movies, not just movies from the 90s, but movies way back in the 50s. And those were really deep, extremely well made films. So to make a movie today, and I think especially the Superman movie, how the hell is going to beat Superman the movie? You know, you gotta be kidding me with that. I don't even think Nolan and his little attempt to try to make Batman real even came close to what Burton accomplished in 1989. And of course, Batman Returns. I would watch those two movies all night versus having to sit through a Law and Order episode with Batman jumping around in it. Thank you very much. You know, uh, it's like the Disney thing. You know, Disney didn't make movies that were trying to be realistic. He made movies that were trying to be great works of art. Period. You know, and that's how they should approach superhero films. I'm kind of worried about this idea that they're going to ground Superman in reality. Although I think that is a good way to take him. Uh, but he's also a work of art. He's not just, oh my God, some guy got powers. He is he is a comic book artwork, and you're not just going to say, oh, you know, you're not going to go into an art gallery and say, oh, that work of art there doesn't look real to me, therefore it is not good. You know, ask Alec Ross, ask anybody who draws Superman. They will tell you that it's all about the majesty of the character, the creating this sense of you know, incorruptibility and perfection, and this manliness. Those are very huge parts of the character that are unchangeable, and yet they've removed his underpants. Something that's been with him since his fucking inception. You know, you can change a lot of things about Superman, and indeed they have, but to fucking take off his underpants, that's just sacrilege. You know, already I can see that, you know, we're just going to say, fuck it, this is Smallville the movie. You know, Smallville got a lot of things right and a lot of things wrong. It was all about, you know, how they could meld something from the original movie with this new, you know, stuff from Superman. And some of it worked, some of it didn't. But I really, really fucking loved the first 3 seasons of Smallville because it was just perfect blend of Superman the movie and Superman TAS, you know, and of course the comics. You know, it was a perfect match. If they could just like do that, but even better with this new movie, it'd be great. But evidence shows that I'm pretty sure that Henry Cavill is a great actor. You know, he's really not just a pussy bitch actor. He is a great fucking actor. Uh, he's very serious. He's smart. So he's not just gonna make a shitty movie. He's not gonna make a cartoony bullshit movie. They're probably gonna take this movie very serious, dramatically too. You know, it's gonna be very big, epic, and smart. Very much like Gladiator or something like that. And I'm all for that. But the Underpants shows to me that they have no respect for Superman the character in any classic sensibilities. Whatever the hell they're doing may very well not be, uh, in line with Superman. It's going to be their own thing, whatever the hell ideas they're going to bring to the table, and maybe it'll be good on its own without having. That's the conflict one has when he's watching a movie about a character or something it's based on, and yet the movie's good, but it's not very respectful to the source. Like The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. A lot of fans were like, "What the fuck? Painted face Joker? What the fuck?" And then the Joker performance is just through the roof. So none of that shit mattered. And ultimately, I think that's what people are gonna have here. Is yeah, the underpants may be gone, but the movie's gonna be so good. They ain't even worrying about that. Hopefully, I can only hope. I don't know. So you know. Anyway, y'all, that's it for me. See you later.